Multimedia Services Manager there, and as a hobby, I do a little bit of microcontroller work with the Arduino. And today I'm going to show you a couple of very generic and very simple projects you can do, all of which use various shields which are available. I'm going to talk about the shields a little bit later. But first off, I want to talk about what is an Arduino. And an Arduino is an open source electronics prototyping platform based on a flexible, easy to use hardware and software. It is intended for artists, designers, hobbyists, and anyone interested in creating interactive objects or environments. Where you can get an Arduino, sparkfun.com, adafruit.com, among others. Basically, the way that the Arduino system works, it's powered by the Atmel Atmega 328 chip. It has 14 digital input and output pins, of which 6 can be used for pulse width modulation outputs. 6 analog inputs, a 16 megahertz crystal oscillator, a USB connection, a power jack, an ICSP header, a reset button, and it contains everything needed to support the microcontroller. You simply connect it to your USB port, cable, and AC to DC power adapter or battery to get started. The Arduino is it's a very small item. I'll show you this one here. Basically, it's about the size of a business card. Like I mentioned, it's got all of the parts that it needs just built right in. You can see here your power in, got your USB, your CSP connection here, so you can do direct from USB connection to it to program it. And the reset button, of course, is right here. The really nice thing about this is it's all solid state, and so there's no moving parts and very low heat. And so it's great for putting it into small project boxes. It's also great for, you can really mount it up against wood without any problems. I know a lot of projects and things like that, because of the heat and things like that, you can't do that. But nice thing is you can. Simple USB connection. This is the, and I'm going to pronounce this incorrectly, but it's the Delimanov, and they have actually just recently released the Uno. And the neat thing about the Uno in comparison to this particular one is the fact that it allows you to connect it as a USB device, such as a mouse or keyboard, which allows you to basically utilize it to put inputs into your computer. But anyway, so that's what it looks like. Very small, and like I said, you can fit it into pretty much any kind of project box or enclosure. Here's a couple of pictures. That's actually the Uno over there. They're very similar. The chip placement's a little bit smaller, and you can actually read this one a little better. The way that they put the words and everything on it are a little different. The unit's actually produced in Italy, and it is an open source piece of equipment, which means that you can actually download all of the Eagle files and actually modify it and have your own boards made. Every time you buy one, you actually make a donation to the foundation that keeps it running, and to their website to keep all that knowledge base and everything going. In addition to these particular two units, there's also one called the Arduino Mega. The Mega is much larger. It has 54 digital input-output pins, 16 analog inputs, USB connection, and it's running the Atmega 2560. And so, and the cabinet over here, this Sounds of the Trail exhibit, we actually use 2 Arduinos, and the combination of the two give us enough pins and outputs that we could create the sound, the lights, and the interactivity there. Here in a little bit, I'll take it apart and you just take a look at how it's all connected and wired up. The nice thing about the Arduino is that it actually uses serial connections with TTL, and so you can actually communicate multiple of them together by just daisy chaining them. So you're able to do more complex interactions like that. One of the downsides to the Arduino is the fact that it only runs one process at a time. So it's capable of doing a lot of powerful things, but it's only capable of doing things at one time. So whenever you do your programming, you actually have to kind of think, what do I want to happen, and how, and when? And so that was one of the things that I had to overcome when I created the Sounds of the Trail exhibit, in that I had to use 2 units so that we could complete 2 different things at the same time. The software that runs the Arduino is it's a Java applet that you run on your PC, Mac, or Linux box. All of the programming is done in C, and it's based on the wiring platform. And so, I don't know if any of you are familiar with C or not, but it's fairly easy to pick up the language and how to write it. I'm actually a Visual Basic programmer, so it was a little different than what I was used to, but very similar. And a lot of fun. But one of the neat things about Arduino, on top of the fact that you can just pick it up, start programming it, is the fact that you can get additional shields. And basically what a shield is it's a little attachment that does a specific purpose. And there are about 200 different shields you can buy at this current time. This is a DMX shield for controlling lighting for theater or haunted houses or whatnot. This is actually a prototype shield. The Arduino actually has the standard pins, but the neat thing about the prototyping shield is it actually has a breadboard attached to the top, so you can actually do all your breadboard work here, test out your lighting and your schematics before you go into production. In addition to the standard Arduinos, you can also get the Arduino Pro, which allows you to go ahead and solder straight down to the board, so that you're not just prototyping. You actually have something that's solid and is going to last. But I've got 4 different shields here with me today. I've got the prototyping shield. This here is the motor shield, which actually allows you to control motors. Because the system allows you to do PWM, pulse width modulation, so you can control servos. But there's not enough power in the regular board because it only runs off of 5 volts. With the motor shield, you're able to control motors, servos, and motors of different types, and put an external power source on so that you're actually able to control those. And I'm going to demonstrate all of these gadgets here in a minute. So just want to get in addition to these shields, we also have the wave shield. And the wave shield allows you to play wave sounds. And that's actually the Sounds of the Trail exhibit actually has a wave shield inside of it, which allows you to control volume, and it also has the chip in it to decode the audio and allow you to play it. So that way you can put Arduinos inside of masks or pumpkins and make them talk and things like that. It's one of the practical or impractical uses, I suppose, of using the wave shield. There's also a Bluetooth shield available, Ethernet shield, which I've also got over here, the motor shield, which I just demonstrated there. There's also a GPS shield, so you can also do GPS. There's also a cellular shield, so you can actually make a cellular phone out of your Arduino, if you were so interested to do that. Anyway, now that I've kind of talked a little bit about the system, I don't want to go too in-depth because I know some of you, are any of you familiar with the Arduino? This is the first time? Okay. I didn't want to get too in-depth because there's so much involved, but there is a great online resource if you're wanting to get involved. Sparkfun.com is a great place to go and get a starter kit. And I've actually got a starter kit here today. And basically it comes in a box like this. And inside of it, you get a inventor's guide, which is basically just a rundown of how everything works. It's got the syntax for your programming. It's got kind of like a problem solution guide, so you can kind of see exactly how you can use each thing. It also talks about components and how they integrate, and then it's also got some examples and things. And in addition to this, you also get a little baggie full of projects. And these little projects are detailed in the book, but they show you exactly where you need to put your resistors, your wires, your cables, where to connect LEDs and things of the nature. And this is kind of an example of what that looks like once it's all put together. It's just a basic breadboard, and you connect. It actually comes with these special wires that already have the tips on them, so you don't have to cut new wires. And this, of course, is one of the fan favorites of the Arduino. Is the first one. It's like the Hello World of Arduino, and it is the LED blink program. And so that's what that looks like. You also get a whole bunch of goodies. There's some different headers. There's some servos in here. More resistors and pins. There's actually a shift register in there, so you can do multiple connections for LEDs and things of that nature. Lots of input buttons and devices, potentiometers. I was saying earlier, you get the specially designed wires. But anyway, I think this runs for about $54 on sparkfun.com. And I don't get any commission, but if you're interested in any kind of prototyping, it's probably one of the better systems that's out there. But let's get down to the fun part, now that I've kind of given you the sales pitch on how it works. Like I was mentioning, there's all kinds of different things that you can utilize to get involved with the Arduino. You can use light sensors, you can use heat sensors. I've seen breath alcohol sensors you can get. Sparkfun.com is a great place where you can get those kinds of things. I've also bought components from Mouser Electronics, and once you've bought something from Mouser, for the rest of your life you're going to get this 64-pound book. And it's a great source for anything that you need to do whatever. There's project enclosures in here, lots of circuits and things that you can utilize, circuit boards, and so that's another good source for components.